Hello and welcome to Rathods Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 15th October 2024. So there are many articles which are relevant from our examination point of view. So let us see those articles from our examination point of view from both mains and as well as prelims in all dimensions. Okay, so let us see the first article of the day. So title says Acemoglu, Johnson and Robinson share Nobel Prize on Economics for work on wealth inequality. So actually, this article is talking about Nobel Prize in category of economy, and this year 2024 Nobel Prize for economy is given for this work which had been done on wealth inequality. Okay, so now let us try to relate this topic from our static syllabus. So here keyword is wealth inequality. So this article we will be connecting with GS paper 3 under economy as usual. So if you see the dimensions where we can connect this topic. In our economy we will be studying about economic inequalities. So in this economic inequalities, we have two types of inequalities. First one is wealth inequality. Second one is income inequality. So here we will be relating our topic. So what are the dimensions you have to see? You have to see about recent data which says that yes, there is wealth inequality persist in India. What is that data? And you have to see what are the reasons for this economic inequality in India, and you have to see what are the measures taken by the government, like what are the policies, schemes, etc., where government is trying to reduce these inequalities, and you have to see what is the way forward, what can be the steps to be taken further to reduce these inequalities in our country. So all these are the dimensions that you have to see, and there is a high chance of getting mains based question from this economic inequalities this year in 2025 mains. So you have to see all these dimensions. In all these dimensions, UPSC may ask you the question. So what is the context? Context says Nobel Prize in Economics was awarded to this Turkish American people and as well as British Americans for the work they did in wealth inequality between different countries. So if you see in the perspective of India, economic inequalities are two types in India. First one is wealth inequality, second one is income inequality. So wealth inequality is nothing but India is one of the most unequal countries in the world. So in India, we can see that rich are getting richer day by day, rich people are getting richer day by day, that too at a very faster pace, while poor are still struggling to earn even basic income. So this is a thing which mainly said by Oxfam report. And next important one is income inequality. So 22.6% of national income went to top 1%, which is set as per World Inequality Database of 2022 to 2023. And very highest in the world is India. India is having very high income inequality, and even it is higher than US as per this World Inequality Database, and you have to note down this data. Okay, this is very, very important. And if you see what are the findings of this Oxfam report says that top 1% of income shares have consistently increased. That means top 1 richer people wealth is increasing consistently, and the share of the income of bottom 50% has consistently declined. And actually top 5% of Indians, they own more than 60% of country's wealth. So these are the data of Oxfam report, that data that you should represent in your answer for sure. And what are the reasons here why there is increasing of economic inequality in our country? First one is there is uneven economic growth. So whatever the benefits of economic growth that we are getting, so they are not equally distributed for everyone. There is uneven distribution of wealth. Certain states, certain sectors, they are benefiting disproportionately. So if you see in the sector wise, we have tertiary sector, we have primary sector and secondary sector. Actually, service sector which contributes about 60% of GDP, and that too it is coming from states like Maharashtra and as well as Karnataka. That means some states are developed states in India, some states are less developed states in India. And even because of this COVID-19 pandemic also, that led to diminishing of wealth of bottom 50% of Indian population. And total number of billionaires in India had been increased during this time of COVID-19 from number 102 to 166 billionaires. So see how this COVID-19 pandemic helped some people to enter into this category of billionaires. And next important reason here is tax system. So government reduced corporate tax slab from 30% to 22%, and even excise duties and GSTs on goods and services which had been increased. As you all know that corporate tax is an example of direct tax, GST is an example of indirect tax. So it is progressive tax, it is regressive tax. So what happens whenever there is decreasing of corporate tax on one side and increasing of indirect tax? So here poor people will be getting disadvantaged whenever there is increasing of indirect taxes. Again, here rich people are benefited if there is reducing of corporate tax or direct tax. So this is also one important reason why there is increasing of inequalities in our country. And next one is there is lack of quality education and healthcare. As you all know that, yes, we are having intergeneration poverty, and actually there is no proper mobility of economy, especially in the rural areas, and there is lack of proper education facilities. And even if you go to any government schools, there is lack of proper infrastructure. So everything. So because of all these things, again, there is income inequality and wealth inequality. And because of LPG, that is liberalization, privatization, globalization. So these are the reforms we came up in India during 1990s. So with these LPG reforms, some sectors had been get advantaged. So those are like telecom and civil aviation. So what happened if we are coming up with reforms in primary sector like agriculture and even small scale industries, they remain neglected under this LPG reforms. So because of this, what happened? Large proportion of our Indian workforce, they are employed in agriculture, but they are not getting benefits from this LPG. So because of this, the economic status of these people who are working in this agriculture, they are receiving the low wages, and again there is lack of social security, etc. Every problem are there in this agriculture sector where most of our Indians got employed. Okay, so these are the problems or the reasons why there is economic inequalities in our country. So what will be the impact of this economic inequality? So there will be increasing of poverty, and even there will be deprivation of this marginalized people. And this one is that will lead to social unrest and conflict in the society. And also it hinders human development. There will be no human development, and there will be reducing of social mobility, and there will be political instability in the country. Always whenever we are going for exploitation, it will be having negative impact on environment, environmental degradation, and obviously there is reduced growth. So in this way you can write impacts in the schematic diagrammatic manner so that you can save your time and as well as space in your examination. So what are the measures which are taken by the government to reduce this inequality? First one is, yes, always we will be focusing on inclusive growth, but I don't know whether we are following that or not. It is only on paper. So for this inclusive growth, government came up with this Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, and even we have National Livelihood, Rural Livelihood Mission, and these two schemes especially focusing on poverty, and especially they are focusing on self-employment and improving of skills for the people. And not only that, even the rural areas, government came up with this MG Narega scheme, that is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. And not only that, government is also providing housing for all in the rural areas and urban areas under this Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. And even government is focusing on improving of skills of youth, that is called as Skill India Mission. So this is the first important measures taken by the government. And second one is government is also focusing on financial inclusion. So actually whenever government is providing any scheme, so government want to decrease the leakages, so that government came up with this concept called as DBT, that is direct benefit transfer. That means who is the beneficiary? For their accounts they will be getting the money directly, so that we can minimize the leakages. So for that we have this Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, so that everyone will be having a bank accounts. So they are also called as zero bank accounts. And next one here is we came up with this Pradhana Mantri Mudra Yojana. So under this scheme, government will be providing some incentives for the people who wants to come up with further entrepreneurs. And next one is government also came up with this Stand Up India scheme. And this one is government is also focusing on social security measures. For example, government came up with this Atal Pension Yojana. So under this pension yojana, so old people, they will be getting pension. And next one here is in this scheme, they are focusing on especially unorganized sector. So these unorganized sector or informal sector people, they don't have any social security benefits. So they are mainly targeted under this scheme. And even we have Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bhima Yojana. So if you are getting any accident or if there is any death because of accident, you will be getting insurance. And this one here is we have Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Yojana. And not only that, even you can add about this Ayushman Bharat scheme and recent incentives regarding that. Like 70 years people, they will be getting the compulsory insurance. And even you can see like how elderly will be getting benefited under that scheme. And this one is government is also focusing on promoting of gender equality. So especially government is focusing on girl child education under this Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme, so that we can prevent gender based and sex selective elimination. And we're also focusing on ensuring of education and as well as participation of girl child to our economy. And even we are coming up with one stop center scheme, and we have Swadhar Grah scheme and Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana. So these are especially focusing on women and girl child. And next, we are also focusing on sustainable development. So for this sustainable development, government came up with these schemes called as National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. And under this scheme, government is focusing on making agriculture more productive, and even agriculture should be sustainable, and farmer need to get remunerative price. And even we are focusing on climate resilient seeds used in this scheme. And not only that, we are focusing on national mission on enhanced energy efficiency, and you can take about national action plan on climate change, and even you can write about PM Surya Bijli Ghar Mufti Yojana, which is focusing on this solar energy in the house. So all these are the very important thing, and if you have the knowledge regarding schemes, wherever it is possible, you can write those schemes so that you can substantiate your argument. And even these schemes you can write in your ethics case studies and even in your essay as well. It is very important. And there are other two articles. The first one is September retail inflation at 9-month high of 5.5% and food price rise at 9.2%. So here always you will be seeing this article in use. Every month it is about retail inflation or wholesale price inflation. So this is a repeated topic, so that I am not taking this for discussion, but I want to give you a brief idea. So you have to know what is inflation. So what is this inflation? Whenever there is increasing of price of goods and service in the market, we will be calling that situation is called inflation. And here we are measuring this inflation at consumer level through this consumer price index. Whenever we are measuring this inflation at the wholesaler level, that is called as wholesale price index. And here in this CPI we have different types at agriculture laborer level, at industrial worker level, at combined level, like that. Okay, so here you have to see types of inflation. So in types we have demand pull inflation, because of increasing of demand, that is demand is more than supply, we see inflation, and this kind of inflation is called as demand pull inflation. And we have cost push inflation. So in this cost push, there will be increasing of price of raw materials. So whenever there is increasing of price of raw materials, obviously the cost of that price will be increased, that is called as cost push inflation. And next one is built-in inflation. So in this built-in inflation, what happens whenever there is changing the lifestyle of the people, there will be increase in the demand for certain goods. Okay, so that will lead to the increasing of price of that good, that is called as built-in inflation. And you have to see like what are the measures we can take to control this inflation. In these measures, you have to see two things. First one is government measures. Next one is RBI measures. So government measures is called as fiscal policy and RBI measures is called as monetary policy. Under this fiscal policy, government will be using two things. First one is taxes. Second one is public spending. So government can increase or decrease the taxes to control money supply in the market. So one of the important reason for this inflation is also increasing of money supply. So whenever we are decreasing money supply, what happen? We can decrease inflation. So if we want to increase the money supply in the market, then what happen? It will leads to increasing of inflation. So whenever government wants to decrease money supply, it will increase the taxes. Whenever government want to increase the money supply, government will be decreasing the taxes. It is one of the example of fiscal policy of government. In the same way, if you see in the public spending, so whenever government want to decrease money supply, government will be decreasing public spending. Whenever government want to increase money supply, government will be increasing public spending. So public spending is nothing but whenever we are going for any infrastructure development, like road construction or hospital construction or any construction, that needs labor, right? So labor will be coming and working. So obviously whenever labor are working, they will be getting salary, so that they will be having money in their hands. So this is an example of public spending. In the same way, here RBI will also have this monetary policy to control this inflation. So in this monetary policy, we have interest rates. So for example, repo rate or reverse repo rate, so that government will be also controlling money supply in the market. Okay, so these are the things that you have to remember. Okay, and here you have to understand especially food inflation. And this inflation, you can get both prelims and as well as mains based question for sure every year. And in this year, mains 2024, you got a 10 marker question based on what are the important reasons for increasing of the food prices now. The same thing. Okay, here you have to see what is this food inflation. Food inflation is nothing but increasing of prices of food in the market. So you have to see why. So in why, you have to see the demand side and supply side, and you have to add even climate related things, so that you can write 5 to 6 points with examples, so that you can write an answer for this topic. Clear? And next question here, next topic here is Bangalore sees 13,748 dog bite cases in last 6 months. So this article is talking about stray dog minis. So how this article is important for you in your UPSC preparation? In your ethics, you can get a case study. So if you are a municipal commissioner, how you are going to address this kind of issue because of this stray dogs. Okay, and even Supreme Court gave a judgment that we should not kill the stray dogs. So whenever you are writing the measures, you have to take into consideration recent judicial pronunciations as well. So you should not write like you should kill that stray dogs. Okay, so here you have to think that I am a municipal commissioner of that so and so Bangalore. So now I have a challenge. So what is the challenge you are having? Challenging is like increasing of stray dogs, and this stray dogs are causing menace. So here in your case study, you can get a question like what are the choices you are having, and they will be asking you evaluate those choices and what is your course of action. So in this way, you will be getting case study in your ethics. What is the course of action? So here you have to write the choices like what are the options that you are having now. So here how you are going to decrease this, or else they may ask you one more question like what are the measures you will be taking to control this situation. Okay, So try to work on this, and I will be giving you the case study on this topic itself. So this will be your today's homework. And see the next article. Most ICCs in entertainment industry not legal. Women's Commission to High Court. So this article which is talking about ICC, it is very important topic. And okay, I will tell you like where you can use this article. So ICC is nothing but Internal Complaints Committee. So what is this ICC? That is Internal Complaints Committee. So from which subject you will be dealing with this? From GS paper 2 under society and social issues. And from governance point of view from GS paper 2, because we are establishing this internal complaint committee under POSH Act, Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act. So we are reading this under governance point of view. And even from GS paper 4 ethics also this article is very important. So here there is a very high chance of getting a case study regarding internal complaints committee. Actually in 2018, 2017, so there were case studies regarding this POSH Act which were given directly. So actually this internal complaints committee, it is dealing with the sexual harassment cases inside an organization. So in an organization, if you're giving employment normally, if there are more than 10 members, so obviously we will be taking recruitment of both female and as well as male. So whenever female and male they are working together, there are high chances of the sexual harassment at the workplace. So to address the grievances of the women inside the organization, so we have to organize or establish this internal complaints committee under this POSH Act. Okay. So actually this article is saying that yes, in retirement industry in Kerala, so whatever the internal complaints committees are there, so they are not established them, and even if they are established, they are not working properly. So this is the context. And here whenever you are writing ethics related case study, so if you are addressing this issue of sexual harassment at workplace, you have to add this point of ICC. In measures, you have to say we have to establish an ICC which is mandatorily said under this POSH Act. You have to include this POSH Act and as well as ICC in your case study. If you are not writing these 2 points, then you will be losing at least 2 marks in your case study. Okay, so what are the dimensions you have to see? You have to see what is this ICC and what is this POSH Act, and you have to see what are the challenges. So because of these challenges only now it is in news. What are the challenges of this internal complaints committee, and you have to see what are the measures we need to take to control the challenges, and you have to give way forward as well. So all these are the very important dimensions, and there is a very high chance of getting questions regarding internal complaints committee now because of increasing of sexual harassment cases across the country. Okay, now let us see this article in detail. So Kerala Women's Commission informed High Court that most of the internal compliance committees in retirement industry are illegally constituted under this POSH Act, and now your commission is saying that yes, we need to amend the rules for better compliance according to this POSH Act. So here this article is saying that there is a lack of legal foundation. So there is no law which is saying that we have to compulsory or mandatorily come up with that internal complaints committee, and it have to work according to the law. So because of this, what happened? So there is no proper implementation. So because of systemic issues in our system itself. So here we need a greater or stricter oversight of this law. And next one here is there is no proper specific rules under this POSH Act for filing complaints under section 26 of this POSH Act itself. So POSH Act itself is saying that we have to constitute this ICC, but it is not saying about the specific rules that we have to follow for filing a complaint in this internal complaints committee. So because of this, the purpose of this act, it is not achieving. And this one here is Women Commission, they call for the amendments. That means we are especially focusing on need for the government interventions now. So we are asking directly High Court to improve the amendments or to come up with the amendments to improve the compliance of this law. That means again we need proper intervention of government and as well as judiciary to make this to make the laws to protect this woman's safety at the workplace. And next one here is, yes, the High Court is also giving the suggestion to avoid derogatory rules underscores the influence of media figures on societal attitudes. So actually, you know that whenever we are talking about this persuasion topic in your ethics topic, so there we will be taking examples of this media people who are social media or any media. So who will be having influence on this people to change the attitude of the people. If these people, they are facing societal attitudes, then what happens? So can we persuade the normal people? No. So that is the one important thing. So these people, they are having the social responsibility. And next one here is, yes, we have to focus on even culture sensitivity. So here we need to have the positive representation of women in every field. So whenever we are addressing this kind of issues of grievance of women, then we can encourage women to participate in this sector. And even we have to increase this public awareness about this ICC. So we need to have proper complaint mechanisms in the workplaces, especially in entertainment industries, so that we will be having a significant social influence. Okay, so what is this ICC? That is Internal Complaints Committee. It is a statutory body and they are established under Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act. Okay, this act came up in year 2013, and under this committee, so if any organization which is having like 10 or more than 10 employers, so it is for sure we have to establish this committee, and this committee should have at least 4 members. Out of this 4 members, 50%, that means 2 should be at least women and 1 should be the senior woman employee as a presiding officer, and 1 should be an external member from non-governmental organization who is having a legal background. And next one is ICC members should be appointed for a term of 3 years and should undergo regular training under this act. Okay, so these are some important basic things that you have to know about this ICC. And see this article, India, Russia discuss training of sailors for polar navigation, development of joint projects. So what is this article talking about? Do you know about this NSR? Any idea about this NSR? NSR. Yes, Northern Sea Route. So actually, you know that Russia is sharing boundary with this Arctic Ocean. So this Arctic Ocean, which comes under temperate to polar region. So most of this Arctic Ocean is normally in ice format, in solid form. So what happens during the summer season? So this ice will be melting so that it will be providing the navigation routes. So now here India and Russia, they are going for the training of sailors for this polar navigation in this Northern Sea Route. So this Northern Sea Route is very, very important for Russia, not only for Russia, even India as well. Because if we want to reach Europe, we have to go towards Suez Canal and it will be very, very lengthy. So if you are using this, then we can easily reach this European countries with a very less distance. So whenever the distance is decreasing, the time will be decreasing and transportation cost will be decreasing. So here you have to know about this NSR, that is Northern Sea Route. So this article is important from your international relations from GS paper 2, and even it is important from GS paper 1 under geography as well. Okay, now let us see this article in detail. So if you see the context, it says that India and Russia working group on this Northern Sea Route recently convened to discuss the training of Indian sailors, because Indian sailors, they don't have much habituated to go for this polar navigation. So for the polar navigation, we are going to have the training, and even we are focusing on development of Arctic shipbuilding projects as well. Okay, so whenever you are writing about India-Russia relations, you can add one more development, that Russia is helping India regarding training of Indian sailors for polar navigation, and as well as we are also going to have some joint Arctic shipbuilding projects between India and Russia. So these are the 2 important developments that you have to write whenever you are writing about India-Russia relations. And actually, if you see some details, it says that yes, we are going to have strategic maritime cooperation now between India and Russia. So this collaboration will be deepening our partnership between India and Russia, and especially we are giving importance for maritime routes in the global trade. And next important one is we are also focusing on training. So our Indian sailors, they are going to get training for polar navigation. It is very, very important for increasing of India's capabilities in Arctic operations. And even we can have maritime education now. We can get the training so that we will be getting the knowledge like how we have to use these channels for polar navigation. And even we are focusing on development of infrastructure like stable transport corridors we are going to have, and even we are going to enter into this international logistics system as well. And even we are going to have some economic opportunities like when we are coming up with joint projects between India and Russia, so we can have investments in the far east so that even we can get some significant economic opportunities for the both the countries, especially as you all know that from Russia we are getting crude oil at a discounted price, so we can also focus on our energy security, and as well as we can also increase our presence in this shipping sector as well. And even this northern sea route is very, very important for shipping of artery, and even it will be very, very helpful for encroachment of new trade routes because of changing of global dynamics. Actually, one important thing why we are going for this Arctic expedition, because now the climate change is happening. Because of this climate change, there is increasing of global temperature, this ice is melting. So because of this, what happened, we will be having the conversion of ice into water so that we can go for easy navigation, and even it will be very, very helpful for reaching this Europe. So I will show you like where is this northern sea route is there so that you can understand clearly. So here this part is Russia, right? So here we have this blue color line is our northern sea route. So now we are using this route. Okay. So this northern sea route is very, very important to join to reach this European country. So this region is very less. Okay, the area which is very less here if you are going beyond this. So if you see some facts regarding this, what is this northern sea route? So northern sea route is a shortest shipping route, and especially we are using for freight transportation. Freight is nothing but goods transportation between Europe and Asia Pacific countries. And actually this northern sea route spans for 4 seas of Arctic Ocean. So actually it starts between Barents and Kara Sea and will be ending with Bering Strait. You have to see which are the water bodies we are connecting and what are the straits. Straits are nothing but the small water channels which will be connecting two water bodies. So it is like this. So here one water body, here one water body. So if there is any small channel of water which is connecting these two water bodies, then we are calling them as strait. So open your atlas and see which are the straits are present and which are the water bodies that we are connecting in this northern sea route. And this route, it is around 5,600 kilometers in length. Okay, so actually if you use this from 16,000 to, we can decrease the traveling length will be like 10,600 kilometers. So because of this, we can save the time if you are using this northern sea route. So why India is also interested in this northern sea route? What is the interest of India? So this part is very important for your mains. Why? Because there is increasing of cargo traffic along this northern sea route now. Okay, so if you're comparing the data from 2018 to 2022, there was 73% of the things which are going across the world trade of 73% is going in this northern sea route. So there is a high increasing of chances of going of this traffic in this region. So because of this, India wants to use this as an advantage. And next one here is even energy imports. So increasing of imports of crude oil and coal from Russia, also facilitated by this northern sea route. So we can decrease the cost and as well as traveling time as well. And also we can increase the safety. We don't know what happens in the Suez Canal. So actually one ship had been stuck in the Suez Canal, I think 6 to 7 months ago. So because of this, the global trade had been stopped for 2 to 3 days. So because of this, yes, this will be more safer than compared to that of going towards this Suez Canal. And next one here is one more issue here in this Indian Ocean region here is piracy from Iran. So we don't know like when the piracy will have, whenever these people they will be attacking our Indian ships. We don't know that. And even geographical benefits we are having. So India's major trade depends upon the sea transportation. And actually this southern sea route is one of the more efficient route which will enhance our India's trade potential as well. And even we want to invest in this Chennai Vladivostok corridor. Okay, it is like a maritime corridor between India and Russia. So here this corridor will be linking this NSR so that we will be having advantage of using this shortening of transport time. So actually from 16,000 kilometers we can decrease the length to 10,500 kilometers, okay, of transportation. So because of all these things, yes, we are interested in this NSR. And see this article, stubble burning on the rise in Punjab and Haryana. So because of this, Delhi air quality is very serious now. So actually this article is talking about stubble burning. So here you have to understand what is the meaning of stubble burning, why stubble burning is happening. So what are the steps taken by the government to reduce this stubble burning, and you have to see what is the role of government, that is state government. Like here you have to see this Delhi government steps, Punjab government steps, and overall central government steps. So all these are very important. And even if you are a municipal commissioner there, or if you are an agriculture minister in that area, so how you are controlling that stubble burning. So there is also a chance of getting case study. Okay, so next topic here is ensuring a proper social safety net for ZIG workers. So who are these ZIG workers or platform workers? Can you give me some examples? Okay, delivery boys like Zomato, Swiggy and Uber, Ola drivers. Huh? Okay, so those comes under ZIG workers. So which sector they will comes under, formal or informal? They comes under informal. So actually in this informal sector, do they have any social security benefits like any insurance or any paid leaves? No. So here because of this now already in our one of our labor code they said that yes we are going to provide social security benefits for this, but it is not implementing. Okay, so there is no proper implementation of that occupational safety code. So because of this, this article is saying that we need a national law so that we can ensure social safety net for this ZIG or platform workers. So this is about this article, and this article we can connect from GS paper 3 under economy and also GS paper 2 under governance, because we are talking about labor codes, and even from GS paper 2 under polity, because we are going to come up with a new national law. So what are the dimensions you have to see? You have to see about who are the ZIG workers examples and what are the challenges you are facing and what are the measures we have to take. And next you have to see about what is the role of Union Ministry of Labor. Okay, Union Ministry of Labor and Employment, how they can take the steps to ensure social security for this ZIG workers. So if you see the context, it says that Indian government is drafting a national law to integrate the ZIG workers into social security schemes now. So whenever they are going to get the social security, they have to contribute something, like so they have to maintain a fund that is called as social security funds. So who have to contribute for this fund? So whether the ZIG workers will contribute. So already they are getting very low salaries. If they are delivering so and so parcel, they will be getting 30 to 40 rupees per parcel. But will they contribute for the social security fund? No, right? But who can contribute in the for the sake of the ZIG workers? So this new law is saying that aggregators, that means the companies who are employing the ZIG workers, they have to contribute to this social security fund. Okay, so this is our new national law. Actually, it is a draft which had not yet been passed. Okay, so here this proposed law which aims to create a welfare board, and even they are going to create a dispute resolution mechanism as well, and they want to improve the definition of ZIG and as well as migrant workers. So actually the current social security code which said that we are going to provide this social security benefits for the gig workers, but it is inadequately addressing this problem of providing social security for the gig workers. So because of this, now there is a need of coming up with a national law. So what are the important points which are said in this article? The first one here is, yes, governments move to draft a national law which reflects that, yes, now there is a growing of gig economy in our country, and now we need a social safety nets for them so that they will be also getting social security frameworks. And this one here is, they are also saying that financial contribution should be done from aggregators. So now this law which is mandating, that means 100% it is saying that here those people who are the companies who are employing these gig workers, they have to contribute to this social security funds. It is a very important steps, because now companies are responsible for providing social safety or social security for this gig workers, so that we can promote fairness for this gig workers or gig economy as well. And this one is, we are also going to come up with the welfare board. So whenever we are having this welfare board, if there are any grievances, if there are any problems which are faced by the gig workers, so they can directly file a complaint there, so that their issue will be getting resolved. And this one is, we will be having registration and as well as transparency, accountability, if you are having the better tracking of the gig workers' rights and as well as benefits. And even we can improve the relationship between the company and as well as workers now, because these companies, they are going to contribute for their welfare. And even they are calling for the better definitions, like whatever the employment relationship which is there in the gig economy, so we have to come up with the proper definitions of this, who are these gig workers, who are these platform workers, so that we can go for protection as well as rights enforcement, so that what happened, we can dismantle misleading classification by the aggregators. So whichever the companies, they are giving the definitions of the gig workers or platform workers, they are not accurate. So if government is taking some steps to come up with the definition, then that will be the accurate, and that we can enforce throughout the country equally. Okay, so that is the thing. And next one here is a blueprint for safeguarding children. So recently we discussed this article, like Supreme Court gave a judgment like, so if you're storing or if you are sharing the information of child pornography, that will comes under a serious criminal offense, right? So do you remember this? So they again the same article which came in the newspaper. So let us have a small recap. So recently Supreme Court held that viewing in private, downloading or storing or processing or distributing or displaying pornographic acts which are involving children, that is child pornography, which attracts criminal liability under this POCSO Act and as well as IT Act of 2000. So under these two acts, now it is a criminal offense. So here what Supreme Court clearly said in the judgment, Supreme Court said Parliament to amend this POCSO Act, and now we have to replace this word child pornography as child sexual exploitation abuse material or CSEAM. So we have to replace this word under this POCSO Act to this Act. And because the word child pornography can lead to trivialization means nothing but, so people are taking very light, so we don't want to take this child pornography as light, so we have to give more importance to that, so that we can change the name from child pornography to child sexual exploitation and abuse material. And court also said that in our Information Technology Act, we have section 67B. So under this, we have to make it a criminal offense. We have to penalize, we have to punish the people who use, who transmit and who going for publication of this child pornography material. So in this, they also included even browsing, even creation, even collection, even online facilitation. Everything will comes under offense. And even under this section 15 of POCSO Act, which penalizes even the storage of child pornography with the intention to share or transmit that information. Okay, so this is the thing which mainly said. So here you have to know like what are the measures taken by the government to control this child pornography in India. So we have cyber crime unit. So it will handle the cases regarding this POCSO Act and as well as IT Act. So first one here you have to remember is cyber crime unit. And next one is we have cyber crime prevention against women and children scheme. So under this scheme, they are focusing on handling of cyber crimes against women and as well as child in the country. And also we have National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, that is NCPCR. Always you will be seeing that in news. So it mainly focusing on conducting awareness campaigns, and as well as it will be also intervene in the cases to ensure children's safety in the country. And we have Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, that is I4C. So whenever you're writing cyber security issues, you will be writing this I4C. So it is a law enforcement agency which will be addressing cyber crimes, including even child pornography as well. And next one is, here we have cyber tip line. So here it is a portal where we can go for reporting of child sexual exploitation. So it will be operated by National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So these are the some important measures which are taken by the government to control this child pornography in India. So whenever you are writing any measures in your case studies of ethics, you can include those of them. So all these are there. So but even despite of all these things, still there is increasing of cases against children. So we have to take the strict measures. So like that you can use these things in your answers and as well as case studies. Clear? So these are the important topics that appear in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching, and please do like this class if you really like this class, and do share this class to your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Rathods IAS Academy. And thank you so much for watching.